You let me raw, take you over, comprehend survival. You know, find the way. You know it's real, you know it's real. Shivers down your spine, down your spine. Down, giving me goosebumps, giving me goosebumps.
What's good, party people? This is your friendly neighbor, Chad the Maverick, back again with another video. And today, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go over an energetic overview of like Mercury retrograde, just to like give people the insight for what this retrograde is bringing from an energetic scale. I'm not even looking directly at the astrological transits as much as I am looking at the path of the sun through Scorpio, because this is what's going to be kind of giving and keying into this Mercury retrograde, especially since this Mercury retrograde is in Scorpio, and Mercury already went most of its way through, and now it's in retrograde. So to us, it looks like it's going backwards. But because it's going backwards, we're going to be revisiting certain aspects from this original like Mercury and Scorpio transit within Scorpio season itself. So there's going to be new reveals as far as what a lot of people's heart's desires, what secrets people may have been holding, what secrets may have been hidden from you for whatever purpose at the time frame, and etc. It may not even be directly about secrets as much as it is about like hidden knowledge, or maybe even hidden wealth and hidden fortune as well. There's a lot of ways that this could play out, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start going over like just a general overview. So Mercury retrograde is lasting from, well, today I'm recording this, it's 11/1/111. And then it's going to be going to about the 20th. Then it has its post shadow period till December 7th, and then it gets right before my birthday, because you know, no plan. Anywho, so let's get this started off then and keep it going, right? So the first theme for Mercury retrograde, I'm gonna say like the first week of it, right? This is going to be mostly about karmic relationships, and this could range from a karmic relationship between someone who may be your friend, a karmic relationship that may be between you and a certain line of work, or it could be what everyone's automatically assuming it's about, and about potential either romantic partner and or people that you just generally connect to on a soul level that you haven't before, right? Now the difference between this is that this is mostly going to be about relationships and the love that we generally see on like the TV screen and etc., because that's just how this part of Scorpio season is about to go. So the thing about this, right, is that a lot of people that just even exist on this planet have been here before in some way, in some capacity. And with this being here before, you tend to cross timelines of people. I'm not going to get into my whole time theory, but you tend to cross timelines of people. That's why when you meet certain people, sometimes there's a sense of familiarity. And it's not just going to be due to, oh, we like the same things, or oh, we like the same things. There's a sense of familiarity when it comes to the soul. But the thing about that is that there are people from different, star systems, different galaxies, and sometimes you end up meeting people that are from a galaxy like yours, similar to yours, or like a star that's similar to yours, or etc., right? These people generally have connection with you that outranks the span of time. And this has always been something that has gone on within like the general span of humanity as far back as we can go. But this now is coming to the forefront as during this Mercury retrograde. It's from like the 1st to around the 6th or 7th of November. because this is like a reintroduction of certain people for you to be able to see if these people are meant to be within your life in this time frame, or if they're simply meant to be a lesson in this time frame. So even if you might have had I know there was a huge big like twin flame thing, like I want to say a year ago, 2 years ago, which ironically got a lot of people onto the spiritual path. So like it was a double-edged sword, or their own path. Now, I don't want to say spiritual path, but like regardless of the point, right? The thing about it is that all the myths from the past and all the things that you know deep within your soul, as far as like what you're seeking for within a partner, what you're seeking for within other people, are going to start coming to the forefront in different ways. And you're going to start to realize and understand what you really stand for, as far as, you know, how far does your love go? I think that's the best way to put it. How far does your love go? Does your love go past the spans of space and time, or was your love meant for that timeline only? This is really important because everyone on this planet wants to connect with people, and more specifically a specific someone that, you know, is able to set their soul on fire. However, some souls that are set on fire aren't positive or beneficial towards either party sometimes. And that's what we have to kind of like look out for, to ensure that, I think the best way to put it is that your soul can be on fire without it being a frenzy. And I think that's the key thing I'm trying to get at with this, right? Because I'm sure people have met either karmic relationships or like potential twin flames and potential like love of their lives, and I want to marry this person one day, and blah, 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 blah. But do they give you a calm sense of fire or a frenzy sense of fire? You're looking for the calm sense of fire. A frenzy sense of fire is just generally like, oh, I'm so attracted to this person, I just want to type deal, right? Where on the other end, like the real calm type of fire is like, it's here. You know what I mean? So that's just like the one thing I want to like point out, because this is what's this retrograde is kind of like beginning. It's bringing back those karmic relationships and those karmic ties, so to speak, from the past into the present, to see, hey, does this person maybe get another chance? Does this person get another shot? Is this not the situation at hand? Is there somebody else that I found along the way that I want to actually, you know, invest time into? Is there like, you know, these are the questions that are going to rise within the first week of this retrograde season. So be definitely mindful of that. I'm gonna go over all of the Mercury retrograde just so I can get it like in one video, and I'll just keep sending it to people for different parts. But now we're gonna go into the second part of this retrograde. There's 3 parts. So the second part was gonna be like the second week for the most part, right? So from the 7th to about the 12th, 13th, this is when the full moon happens. I believe the full moon's on the 12th. The full moon's going to be a full moon in Taurus. So it's a culmination that's happening on a full moon in Taurus. First and foremost, before I even say that, I want to say that the full moon that's happening, I believe, is going to be opposite the transits that the Buddha was born under. So in a sense, and it's going to sound weird, but it's like everything that Buddha or Buddhism essentially teaches, between like the Eightfold Path, etc., it's going to mostly be on the forefront in comparison. And this is going to be actually these type of ideas and those higher ideas. It's not specifically what the Buddha said. It's more about the Buddha's journey into figuring out his own personal enlightenment. All of these themes that like forced him to like kind of go into that mode are coming to the forefront like during this like part of the retrograde season. And the reason why is because it's kind of time for like, you know, people to become their own sense or their own Buddha or their own sense of enlightenment, their own connectivity to their higher spirits, their higher selves, etc. And the thing about this is that with the full moon is essentially everything that we've kind of gotten together from Libra season leading into Scorpio season, where we're kind of like forced to really be in this like deep sense of our hearts and these kind of darker frames of our mind, and maybe even some like angst and slight paranoia from just like life. These are normal things because Scorpio season is here to purify that. And so what this full moon is doing is essentially purifying your intents, your heart's desires, and it's purifying your sense of what's real. And I think that's what's going on. Like, it's really doing that, because what the second half of this Mercury retrograde season is bringing on to a lot of us is the yang energy, right? Of course, it's going to be yin yang, and as Pusha T once said, you can't have the yin without the yang, my friend. And this yang energy, this masculine, darker, not necessarily bad, but dark energy is going to be mostly like in charge, because we're finding the beauty within our darker moments, because we're going to be transmuting all of those moments into what we need it to be, or into the light, if that's what you so choose. It's obviously up to you. I prefer, and I would suggest that, but what do I know? Like, I don't know your life. So the secret behind this all, though, right, is that a lot of power that we are seeking, or that we generally may be afraid of, actually lies within the shadow element of whatever that thing is. And that's representative in the Gene Key system, which I use as well to kind of help me, I reverse engineered it, so it kind of helped me like work through these astrological transits energetically. But besides the point, it's accepting the shadows within, so we're able to bring our best foot forward, because a lot of times power itself has to have a darker element in order for you to even be light. Think about superheroes. Most superhero origin stories aren't that grand or great. Like, a lot of them not so fun. If you ever watch X-Men, they did not have a fun time. They figured it out once they accepted their power, the dark parts of the power. I'm thinking Cyclops. So for example, just Cyclops. And if you're a comic nerd, that might be a bad example, but beginning wise, right? When Cyclops first got his powers, he's the one that shoots lasers out his eyes, right? Optic beams, concussion, blast. I'm a nerd, sorry. But when he used to shoot the lasers out of his eyes, he had they would just shoot out. So anytime he'd open his eyes, if his eyes were closed, nothing would happen, but there'd be a bunch of energy behind it. But as soon as he would open it, boom. And his eyes are literally able to scale mountains. So he had to pretty much live mostly with his eyes closed. And the people that made him open his eyes, like trying to be jerks, they got it. But that's what I mean by darker. Like, that's a dark type of feel. That's a dark vibe. Now later on, he ended up getting the lenses on his eyes, so where he can open and close his visor and let it go out. But he finally found a control. But first, he had to kind of embrace and accept the fact that that's the thing, you know what I mean? And that's what I mean by shadow. It's not necessarily like a bad thing. It's just something that like we really like, it's a big part of us, and then learning how to use that shadow so that is you able to do good, or you're able to do as you will with it. And that's what this second half and this full moon, this full moon and season is really bringing in the Scorpio season, like the acceptance of this like power. And the full moon is going to show you. The full moon is definitely gonna push that forward and push that out. So now we're going to go into the last end of Mercury retrograde season. So this is going to be leading up to like right before this actual Mercury retrograde ends. And the thing about this, right, is that this is the breakthrough point. And this breakthrough point, now keep in mind,